In 2003, a 19-year-old college dropout walked into Silicon Valley with a single idea, a machine that could run hundreds of medical tests from just one drop of blood. No needles, no fear, no waiting days for results. She called it the Edison. She called her company Theranos. Within a decade, she would be worth $9 billion on paper. She appeared on the covers of Forbes, Fortune, and Time. The media called her the next Steve Jobs. But behind the black turtlenecks, the carefully crafted image, and the confident speeches, there was no revolutionary machine. There was only a lie. A lie that put real patients at risk and became one of the biggest corporate frauds in American history. This is the story of Theranos. Her name was Elizabeth Holmes. As a child, she admired famous entrepreneurs and reportedly told her family that one day she would become a billionaire. At just 19 years old, she enrolled at Stanford University to study chemical engineering, but after only one semester, she dropped out. She believed she had already found her life mission. Holmes claimed she was terrified of needles. That fear inspired an ambitious vision, a portable machine capable of performing hundreds of medical tests using only a tiny drop of blood from a finger prick. If successful, it could revolutionize healthcare. Medical tests would become cheaper, faster, and available inside local pharmacies without requiring patients to visit hospitals. The idea captivated investors. Elizabeth Holmes quickly became Silicon Valley's newest superstar. She adopted the iconic black turtleneck, spoke with remarkable confidence, and was constantly compared to Steve Jobs. She assembled an influential board filled with former government officials, military leaders, and powerful politicians. Very few of them, however, had experience in medicine or laboratory science. By 2014, Theranos had reached a valuation of $9 billion, and Elizabeth Holmes became the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. There was only one problem. The machine didn't work. Behind the closed doors of Theranos headquarters, engineers struggled every day to make the Edison function. According to former employees and testimony presented later in court, the device consistently failed to produce accurate results. Instead, many patient blood samples were secretly tested using modified commercial laboratory machines, the very technology Theranos claimed it would replace. Employees who questioned these practices were allegedly pressured to remain silent. Some were dismissed. Others resigned because they feared inaccurate test results could seriously harm patients. And unfortunately, those fears became reality. Some patients reportedly received incorrect results involving serious medical conditions, including cancer indicators and pregnancy complications. Despite these problems, Theranos signed a landmark partnership with Walgreens, placing testing centers inside pharmacies across the United States. Millions of people trusted a technology that behind the scenes barely worked. Meanwhile, Holmes continued raising hundreds of millions of dollars from investors, giving confident interviews and presenting herself as a visionary entrepreneur. According to prosecutors, however, investors, business partners, and the public were being deliberately misled. Everything began to unravel in 2015. Investigative journalist John Carreyrou of the Wall Street Journal received confidential information from former Theranos employees who were deeply concerned about what they had witnessed. His investigation revealed that Theranos was performing most of its blood tests using traditional laboratory machines, not the Edison device. He also described a workplace built on secrecy, intimidation, and legal threats against employees who dared to speak out. Holmes strongly denied every allegation. Theranos threatened legal action against the newspaper. But the truth was already emerging.
Government regulators launched investigations. Federal inspectors identified serious deficiencies inside Theranos laboratories that they said posed immediate risks to patient health and safety. Walgreens ended its partnership. Investors began pulling out. Theranos was forced to void or correct hundreds of thousands of blood test results already given to patients.
The company that had once been valued at $9 billion was collapsing in full public view. By 2018, Theranos had effectively fallen apart. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Elizabeth Holmes and her former business partner, Ramesh Sunny Balwani, with massive fraud. Soon after, federal prosecutors filed criminal charges accusing them of wire fraud and conspiracy involving both investors and patients. The trial became one of the most closely watched corporate cases in modern history. Former employees testified about the pressure to hide failures. Investors described being shown fabricated reports designed to make Theranos appear legitimate. In January 2022, Elizabeth Holmes was found guilty on multiple counts of fraud. Balwani was later convicted as well. Holmes received a prison sentence of more than 11 years. Balwani was sentenced to nearly 13 years. The billionaire, who once promised to transform healthcare, had become a convicted criminal. Today, Theranos is remembered as far more than a failed startup. It exposed a dangerous culture where ambition outweighed ethics, where powerful people stopped asking difficult questions, and where investors became so desperate to find the next revolutionary company that they ignored basic verification. Most importantly, it reminds us of the patients. People who trusted a medical result to tell them the truth about their own health, when that result may never have been accurate. Elizabeth Holmes wanted history to remember her as the next Steve Jobs. Instead, the world remembers her for something entirely different, a reminder that vision without honesty is not innovation, it's fraud.